Good afternoon. It is March 2nd, 2025, and it's the 8th Sunday in Ordinary Time. And this weekend's readings give us an opportunity to reflect on one of the spiritual works of mercy, and that is the correcting of our neighbor. And the challenge that we have here is too often we fall into that judgment versus correction, teaching, admonishment, and guidance. And our judgment in our society today, people are too quick to go, well, you're judging me, you're judging me. Except that judgment has this part about condemnation. If I truly am judging you, then I have some sense of power over you and ability to condemn you. But in a spiritual work of mercy, what we do is we correct our brothers and sisters. And as Jesus puts it, yet take the log out of your own eye first before you start working on the speck in your neighbor. So what does that really mean for us? And from the teaching of the book of Sirach, we discover that part of that is to educate ourselves, to be truly informed, to really know what it is that our relationship with Jesus Christ is based on. And so the challenge that we have is, if I'm going to correct my brother or sister, how well informed am I? And do I recognize how well uninformed I am? Frequently our problem is we really don't know everything that we like to pretend that we know. Oftentimes we present a facade. We're not exactly who we say we are. One of the examples that I use is in marriage. You know, oftentimes when a couple is living together before marriage, are they on their best behavior? Are they really truly who they say they are, or who they present themselves to be? And in the studies that they do on divorce, one of the things that comes out is, well, as soon as we got married, he changed, or as soon as we got married, she changed. She was never like that when we were just living together. He was never like that. And it goes on and on and on. And one of the things that what God tells us is, there is a plan. The plan's very, very simple. First you date, then you court, then you get married, then you have sex, then you have children, and eventually you die. It's a very simple program of life. But that dating and courting part does not include living together. That comes with marriage. Sex comes with marriage. But oftentimes you can stand there and tell people this, and they'll go, yeah, but you're judging me. You're judging me because I'm living with my boyfriend or I'm living with my girlfriend. It's like, no, I'm not here to judge, but I am here to point something out. But to be able to do that, I need to take the log out of my own eye, which is, how well informed am I? Do I understand why the church teaches what it teaches and why Jesus taught what he taught? Do we understand that? The concept of living together before marriage is not something that was tolerated by Jesus. It's a very simple thing. And in our society, when you start looking at the divorce rates, there's some discernment that's not being done, or not being done very well, before people choose to get married. But it's all about educating ourselves, right? If I'm going to enter into something, do I look at what's going on around me? And oftentimes it's like, we don't. We haven't educated ourselves. We haven't really tried to plumb the depths of everything. And so all of a sudden we find ourselves in need of correction, in need of guidance. But it all has to be done with compassion and love. Because no, I'm not here to judge. But I do have an obligation to teach, I have an obligation to admonish, I have an obligation to guide. Because when I stand before the power of God, and all of us, when your brother or sister sins, go to him and point out the sin. Explain to him, teach him, guide him, or her, if that's the case might be. But help them grow in their relationship with God. Help them understand why the choices that they're making are not right. There can be better choices, other alternatives. The challenge that we have, as Jesus puts it, is, you know, a good tree produces good fruit. It cannot produce bad fruit. And a bad tree cannot produce good fruit. But the book of Sirach teaches us the practical side of life. Have you ever been picking apples, peaches, plums, pears? And you go out there into the grove and you go to pick them. And the apple looks really, really, really good, right? and you get 6 of them home, and one of them's got a worm in it, or one of them's got blight on it, but it looks good. And the thing is, yeah, that tree is producing good fruit, but sometimes the fruit of the tree is influenced by everything around us. And that's where temptation, that's where sin enters into our lives. And so, yeah, we may be producing good fruit, but every now and then there is some correction that is necessary. There is some adjustment that needs to be made. And in humility, one, we need to take that log out of our own eye and get ourselves better informed, better educated, with more knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, so that we can teach others but also be taught ourselves. And humility says that I don't know it all. At the end of the day, I don't know it all. As much as I know nothing. And so, how do I grow also? And how do I teach, admonish, guide, direct others around me? And with love and compassion. We have to recognize, as we're taught, that, yeah, it's a good tree. But sometimes some of the fruit of the tree has been damaged. Sometimes the fruit of the tree is already harmed. So what do we do with it? Do we just cast the entire tree off? Do we chop the entire tree down? Or do we work to improve that which needs to be improved? The challenge that you and I face is the reality of we're not perfect. We're sinners in need of God's mercy and forgiveness. And so the challenge that you have and I have is, in humility, can I acknowledge that and accept it? And can I seek the help that is offered to me? The guidance and direction that is offered to me? The teaching that is offered to me? And in humility, do I recognize that I really don't know it all, and that I need to be taught, and I need to be guided? That's why we have a teaching office in our church. Standards, guidance, and direction. And sometimes, in humility, we need to say thank you and move forward. It is March 2nd, 2025. It's the 8th Sunday in Ordinary Time. May God watch over you and bless you. And remember, Wednesday is Ash Wednesday, start of the Lenten season. Take care. God bless.